Baltimore County Agricultural Land Preservation Advisory Board is now in session. Okay. We are your volunteer representatives appointed by the county executive and confirmed by the county council to advise on matters involving agricultural and agricultural land preservation. We review and recommend on issues relating to existing and respective Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation easements. Additionally, we make recommendations to the county on agricultural zoning issues, other issues relating to agriculture, and on county agricultural easements. Okay. Would the board members please introduce themselves by name and forming affiliation? So I'll just start. My name's Steve Meyer. I'm sitting in for John Merriman for tonight's meeting. I'm out of Whitehall, Maryland, and I have dairy calf feeders.
Holly Gilmore, Equine, Moncton, Maryland.
Brenda Stromer, meat farm, beef, pigs, Woodstock, Maryland.
Okay, great. All right, let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. The Baltimore County Land Preservation Advisory Board operates under the authorities, standards, and requirements of Title III, Article 3 of the Baltimore County Code. The board meetings comply with the Open Meeting Act and Title II, Article 7 of the Baltimore County Code. All right, planning. Okay.
I think I sent you.
I think that's just a
yeah. So
reference.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So we can go to our first.
Excuse me, Megan.
Yes.
I interrupt for a second. I got Erica on the phone. She's having a hard time getting in, and so's Ann Jones.
Okay, let me send Erica the link. Anne is on now, I see.
Should I tell her that you're sending her a link?
Yeah. Sorry about that. And then maybe can we just go around and have staff and non-voting board members introduce themselves as well? I'm Megan Benjamin, staff.
Yes.
Joe Wiley, staff.
David Birkenthal, staff, and Megan. Another way might be at the participant tab for Joe as host. You can also send people the link that way, and sometimes that's easier.
We did lose Brenda.
Well, okay. We can.
We can get Brenda back.
Okay.
And then.
Thought we would.
There, she's back.
Okay, let's look at the minutes for the previous meeting, January 12th. I'm sure everybody has perused them. Are there any changes, corrections, deletions need to be made? If not, can I have a motion for acceptance?
Holly or Brenda, I don't know if everyone heard Steve. He needs a motion for a second for the minutes. Or motion to approve the
I'll
minutes.
second it, and I didn't hear it, but I'll second it. I read them. It's Brenda.
Okay, great. All right. we got
I'm having a hard
motion and
time
a
hearing
second.
as well.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The minutes pass as presented. All right. Now, let's see, on the agenda items, is there any additions or deletions from what has been presented and distributed?
There's just one change on the Lesnar item. It's not a proposed indoor horse riding training structure. It is a hay and equipment barn structure. So that's just a change
Okay. Is,
on the web agenda.
okay. I think they already had a barn on the property. They're just trying to increase their storage, probably, as you say, for hay and any kind of equipment they would keep there. It's like a bank barn, I think, from what I've seen. Okay. All right, so let's go into the items. The first item is from Johnny Cake Farms LLC with Dan Schuster. 8120 Johnny Cake Road, Windsor Mill, Maryland. 15.87 acres. It's RC4 zoning. Request, review, and determinations of whether to support an agricultural use designation for the proposed indoor riding training structure.
All right, Steve.
Go ahead.
Steve, I'm going to present this one.
Okay.
Do the staff comment.
All right.
Just quickly, as Steve has said, Mr. Schuster intends to build an indoor horse riding training facility based on communications with Mr. Schuster's representatives the last couple of weeks. The proposed structure will be used for small equine farming operation on the property. Mr. Schuster maintains a large equine property operation at other sites, and so, as I know many of you are familiar with, he is very well experienced in this type of farming. The facility itself, outlined here in blue, will be about 400 square feet, so a little under a quarter of an acre, or more or less, a little more than a quarter of an acre, I apologize. And Mr. Schuster was advised by Jim Enzer at Soil and Water to seek an agricultural use designation for the indoor riding. So our recommendation tonight is to review and determine whether to support this agricultural use designation for the proposed horse riding structure. So I know we have Jim Enzer on to provide some comments and more background on this project. And then I believe there are representatives of the applicant on as well. So we'll hear from all of them, and then the board will be able to ask questions.
Okay.
You went out on site, David. Did you have some photos?
I did go on site. If we want to go to the next two slides, we'll see here just two easy photos. Oh, we can go back. Just two quick photos. This one's fairly simple. On the top left photo, you'll see the approximate location of the proposed indoor facility and the existing barn structure, which we assume, and this can be confirmed tonight by the applicant, is where the horses will stay long term. So any information of that sort about the logistics will be helpful from the applicant tonight. And then on the right, it's just a different view. That picture is taken adjacent to the barn. So similarly, the same site of the proposed indoor riding facility.
Okay.
And I think we're going to hear from Jim next.
Okay.
All right. Couple things. I think you said, Dave, it was 1,400. I think it's 14,000 or more square feet. That's a little small, 1,400. But
Yes,
my,
that
my
is my
only
bet.
my concern is that they're trying to get an ag exemption so they can get this built without a building permit. And it's my understanding that he wants to have inner city kids come up and ride in there. And I just don't know. I need interpretation from the county or something on, when you have the public in there. I mean, do you really get to build a building without permits for safety and inspections and things like that? So that is my only concern. If it
Well, I
was
think that-
strictly for, family use, things like that, I mean, I guess that's fine. I have no issues. But, I don't know if they've ever come to an agreement that when the public's involved, is it still the same as building a small building for animals or equipment or hay storage? So there's where our concerns are.
Well, it seems like also that he's doing more of this type of farming, into training, riding lessons, things like that. So it seems like, there would be quite more chances to have, public use. And with that in mind, I think it would be prudent to, follow, the permit process like any building.
I do see we have Mr. Schuster and Mr. Warfield on here. Let me unmute them real quick. Let me see.
Okay.
Mr. Warfield, you are unlocked.
Yes.
And Mr. Schuster, so are you.
Thank you.
Yep. Dan, do you want to say anything?
I can give you a brief overview of what we're doing. My company, we've been involved in various projects in the city for the last 30 years. And I am not talking about bringing the general public out. I'm talking about people that we have the privilege to work with and assist in many ways. Last week we put a HVAC system in the Martin Luther King Center in East Baltimore.
Mhm.
We, on a continual basis, put up money for security deposits and for rent. We've got some of our families that are living in cars, or at least they were, and we've been able to get them places, and it's just an ongoing thing, something that we do every day. And after 30 years, we have a large number of friends downtown. We know them. We've taught them wood shop. We've taken them to summer camps. We've taught them home ec. We've assisted in academic stuff, but it's an ongoing thing that my company had the privilege to do. In terms of this particular building, we're in for a permit. We're very close to the end of the permit process, are we not, Steve?
Yeah, for a stormwater management permit. And I think one of the I mean, I don't want to be a smart ass, but I mean, Danny is going to build a safe building. It's not going to be open. And I don't know if you can expand upon this anymore, Dan, but he wouldn't want this building to fall down on his family or anybody.
Right.
And he wants it to be, usable. And the like Danny was saying, it's not really open to the public. I mean, it's not like there's a website where you can go and come and sign up for horseback riding lessons. And the people that he's training, they're trying to train them, and ultimately you want to get people to go to the fair and compete in competitions, and get some may, some may not, but you're just trying to help people get to whatever level of ability they can get to, right?
Yeah, and the use of this place will be my grandchildren and the friends that we have and the friendships that we've developed with the people who are going to use it. It is precisely what what we've done this will be the fourth different place. And it's not a big endeavor, but we have 3 other places which are working now. And these are, the lessons are conducted by professional, fully insured riding teachers.
Mhm.
But there is absolutely no commercial activity that'll go on in that farm. Every friend that comes from Baltimore City will come, and they will enjoy the bucolic atmosphere. They will learn to. Some of them will learn to love horses. Some may want to, just be in the peripheral. But these are our friends from Baltimore City
Right.
who are going to county. We will send our drivers down, pick the kids up, and bring them back. There is, that's what it is. And so it's not commercial. There's nothing commercial about it. We have not received a penny in the last 9 years that we have provided for our friends in Baltimore City.
And how many horses were you're going to kind of remodel the lower level of the barn to house the horses? You were thinking like 6 horses, maybe?
Yeah, six. I'd say 3 ponies, and 3 horses.
Uh-huh.
It's not a big thing, but it's a continual thing. It runs all year long. And we're trying to get the kids out here. Some of those kids are going to make the decision, hey, I'm going to live in the county. I'm going to find a job, and I'm going to leave North Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, East Baltimore. Where would that be? I'm at a loss for locations, but these kids come from all over the city, and the experience is not just the riding; it's just how beautiful it is. And when we go down and pick them up, we're reminded that they don't know what a beautiful place is. It's been a great thing. It's not a big thing. I wish we could do a whole lot more for a whole lot of kids, but our thing is to make sure that the kids that come have a good experience, and we've been very successful with it. I have built, this will be the third, it'll be the third from the ground up indoor rings. They're very, very simple. And we, Bacon Hall, some of you guys might know about Bacon Hall. It's been, I showed ponies when I was a kid at Bacon Hall. So we've taken that and remodeled it. We have a good teacher, and I think we're 3 days a week right now. We want to get to 4 with the kids. But after 30 years, you develop friendships, and that's what it's all about. It's just our friends coming from the city and my grandchildren, and they will be the people that work there or that enjoy it and ride there.
Right. Okay. Holly, Brenda, what are your thoughts?
I'm a little bit familiar with the programs that they do, and I have to say they do an excellent job. My only question is the indoor ring is being built in a pasture, it looks like. Will it be fenced in around the indoor to keep the horses from around the ring, or will it just sit in the middle of the pasture and so the horses have the ability to go up to the side of the building and do whatever?
Right now we're planning on three different pastures. Certainly the exterior fence, for instance, we're taking that down and putting a new one up, a 4-board fence, and the actual arena will have fencing around it, which will give access to any of the overhead doors, but it will have fences around it so that a horse can't get out. Horses can get out, but we haven't had that in the 9 years we've.
Okay. Well, it seems like that you've been doing this for quite a few years. So you know what you need to do to make it meet its purpose, make it an enjoyable place, and, you know, impart some knowledge, equine knowledge to kids that are otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity necessarily. And it is an agricultural pursuit. So personally, I don't have a problem with it.
So, may I ask a question? So you said that you are going through the process for your stormwater permit that's in process. But for the structure itself, you would be building it through, the building permit exemption for an agricultural structure, is that correct?
That's correct.
So since it's an exemption, there's no, particular approval necessarily needed from anyone, because it's the exemption, but the matters before the ag board just to determine the legitimacy of the agricultural use that is being proposed. So that's what the ag board is looking at.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that for clarity and add that question.
Okay.
And I think Jim Enzer mentioned something to me that, you know, kind of hit the nail on the head for me, was that if it was just a riding ring without a roof on it, it would clearly be acceptable. And then if you put a roof on it so you can use it year round, then it becomes questionable. So it seems like, I mean, you guys are the ultimate deciders, but like you just said, I think it's clearly an agricultural use.
Okay. Brenda, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
This is Brenda. I make the motion. We accept it.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Holly. I can second it.
Thank you, Holly. Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Steve, real quick, could you just read out what the motion would be, just for clarity?
Okay. This would be motion to approve a indoor horse riding training structure on Johnny 8020 Johnny Cake Road, Windsor Mill. 15.87 acres, RC6 zoning. Okay. We got a motion and then we got a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Okay, let's go on to the next. The next is Christopher Lesnar, 1906 Freeland Road, Freeland, Maryland. 2 lots, 38.144 and 13.77 acres, RC8 zoning. And they are looking to put up a building. I have the impression that they're expanding in their livestock, and they also are looking to start raising some of their own feed
Steve,
on the property.
I
Yeah.
can hop on here and provide the staff's
ahead.
comment. So Steve mentioned it's a similar application as our second one tonight, looking for a legitimacy of ag use designation. So the Lesners purchased the larger of the two properties you see to the north in July of 2021, and they've just recently purchased this second parcel to the south. The parcel up in the northern section there has an existing barn structure. If Joe, if you want to go to the next slide quickly. Oh, sorry, the following slide. So it has an existing barn structure, as you see here, and an existing agricultural or existing farming operation. They're looking to use the additional 15 acres that they purchased for corn production, as their research actually turned up that this had recently been used for this has historically been used for corn production. So the barn structure here that you see before them, one, they've decided that for their operation, it's actually a little too small, and also it's in somewhat of a state of disrepair in portions. So they're looking for another structure. If we go back to those maps, if you wouldn't mind, Joe. Right. So as you see in the bottom structure, there's a small black outline of where they're proposing for their second barn. This barn will support the either whatever agricultural production happens on the second parcel here, as well as supporting any auxiliary uses for the northern parcel. If we want to pop down, I'm sorry, Joe, to make you keep going back and forth, all the way down to the pictures of where where the proposed barn structure will be. More pictures of this very lovely barn, some Highland cows and their ongoing agricultural production. And then I may have come across on my site visit on not exactly the prettiest day, but as we can see here, on the right, you'll see the location for the proposed driveway, and on the left, the general location of the proposed barn. They're attempting to begin an agriculture operation on this site as well. So they're looking for a legitimacy of agricultural use in a similar way to the last application. The barn structure will be used to support both an expanded agriculture operation and the ongoing one, and therefore therefore Jim Enzer has similarly recommended that they look for this legitimacy of agricultural use designation. So I'll turn over to Jim. He has similarly to present on this one, and then I believe the applicants or representatives of the applicants are also here tonight to speak on their behalf.
Yeah, we have both of them on, so.
Great. All right, so we'll go Jim and then the applicants and then questions from the board and then any questions from the public, or I'm sorry, comments from the public.
All right. I don't really have any problem with calling it an ag building. I have a problem with the exemption. Only thing the district can do is give an exemption for grading. And in order to get a grading exemption, you have to have and follow a soil conservation and water quality plan. It's a small farm, but we have big concerns with the pasture. It's really wet, so we're going to have to address that somehow for water quality issues. When I went out there and met with them about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had snow. There's a lot of standing water in it. There are probably 3 good flowing streams, for a better word, just a runoff, and it's going to be difficult to graze that in using a conservation plan, because we just can't have animals in the the real wet areas. It's not for their health and for water quality. So I did talk to Jim, and just wanted to make sure that the owner knows that we're going to have to do something with this, and if he wants to follow the conservation plan, that's fine. But it may take some of his ground out of production and all, because it's just so wet. I mean, it's a great piece of ground, but it's not ideal for farming because it's just so wet. I was unaware of there could be corn in the south side. When I was out there, they really didn't know what they were going to do with it. So I guess, I have no problem them building it, but I just don't know whether we're going to be able to do the ag exemption for the grading due to having to follow the conservation plan. Now, I guess we can come up with some kind of agreement, and if the owner wants to, say he'll follow it, I guess we can move forward. But I just don't want to, we have a lot of work to do, and I just don't want our planners out there, and then when they do all this, and then he doesn't want to do it, nor do I want to hold him up, because I'm not sure when we actually get to it. I don't know whether the building permit or the grading permit's really going to make that much of a difference. I think it may be quicker for him, and then he doesn't really we can make our recommendations, and he can whether follow them or not. We really can't have him just say, no, we're not going to do this, get this agricultural grading exemption, and then have water quality issues out at the farm. So it's kind of sticky wicket. I don't want to deter them from doing what they want, but the district has a job to do to protect water quality and the resources, and that's what we have to do. And I don't know the owner that well, so I'm not sure what his take is going to be if we tell him he has to lose, half of his pasture. So this is where we stand.
We have them online. Let me give them a chance. Give me 1 second here.
I think a soil conservation plan would be in order.
Jen, you are unlocked, and Megan, you are also unlocked.
Very much. Jennifer Bussey with the law firm of Whiteford, Taylor, Preston, and I'm hoping that Mr. Lessner.
This is Brenda. I can't hear her.
I can't either.
Sorry, is this a little better? I'm trying to get closer.
Is there more volume anyway?
This is Chris Lessner. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Jim, just in terms of the property at 1906, I know I met you out there with Jim Mattis, and prior to you coming out and visiting with us, we did have Henry Leskinen come out, a soils sample specialist, and we had him do some soil samples in the floodplain areas of the property over at 1906. And we actually came out better than expected in terms of what those soil samples came back showing that that there are parts of that property that are said to be in the floodplain that we feel could actually yield some crop or would do better than what the floodplain would suggest, that you wouldn't have much success in those areas. So Henry came out and he did some soil samples for us, and it turned out better than we expected there. And over on the other side of Freeland there, the 15.2 acres, we really feel that putting the barn on that side over there is really going to help us and benefit us in terms of what we're trying to do. We want to increase our acreage in terms of what we currently yield with our hay. We want to increase the acreage there from right now. I think we're currently somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 10 acres, maybe just a little shy of that. And we want to increase that acreage from that perspective. And in terms of the current bank barn structure there, it is in much need of some repair. Right now we have a caretaker farmer that comes in and for our first season as we purchased the property, this was an agreement that was already in place, and we kind of let that agreement carry itself out. Trevor Wells, a really great guy. But I know he has expressed to the fact that give or take maybe another year or so, he's probably going to be looking to not continue to do the hay. So at that juncture, we are currently in the process of acquiring the equipment needed and necessary. And with what we have in place currently on the property there at 1906, we don't really have what we need to sustain the type of operation and keep up with even the grounds in general, grooming the grounds, the equipment that's needed, mowers and stuff of that nature, above and beyond balers and cutters and different things. We just don't really have a facility that can house that equipment. And what we currently have, this barn is definitely much needed for what we plan to do. And again, I'm very open-minded to doing what's needed and following your instruction and what we need to do. So I'm surely on board with that, but I really feel that this facility is very much needed for what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish.
And we don't disagree, Chris, at all. But I guess I'm not going to waste the time here of this board, but if they decided it's an agricultural use or something, then you and I and Ashley can sit down. We'll come out and meet you again, and then go over what we feel we may need to address, and then see what you feel about it. It's not our intent to take ground away from you, but we have to protect the resources, and then we all can decide whether it's best just to go get a grading permit and then get on with it so we don't hold you up, or go another route. So I mean, that's still open. We're not closing you off of that, but I'll just leave that up to you. See what you want to do.
Understood.
Hello, this is Eric Hines. I have a couple questions for you. The pasture, in the floodplain, the areas along the stream, is your intention, I'm just trying to get this straight, to row crop that, or you're going to pasture it?
Are we talking about the 15.7 acres where the barn is going on that side there? The south side? I think,
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, or
right, yeah.
even the north side, whatever.
The
Well,
south side, Eric.
north,
It's the south side.
The south side, okay.
okay, yeah. I mean, because the side that the barn is actually going on, believe it or not, that side is very dry.
Yeah, okay.
It's not wet in any means, and above and beyond the barn facility, we actually plan to do some crop on that side, addition to the barn itself as as a whole.
Around the barn or over
Yeah,
on
like
the far side
out
of
to the
thing?
front, because we're putting the barn to the back of the property, which is
Okay.
going to give us a fair
Okay.
amount of property to the front, and we plan to do some crop there, just the same.
Okay. Yourself, or you're going to rent it out to somebody?
No, we're going to do it ourselves.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. It's this facility is so needed in terms of what we're trying to do. We just need a facility to be able to house the equipment, and in addition, the current facility we have, the bank barn. We need to get some of that hay relocated from that facility there to do some of the much needed repairs that facility needs, and take some of that across the street. And in addition, to some of the things such as corn and all that we want to try to do for feed and things like that, we're going to need a facility to be able to try to handle that just the same. And what we have in place right now is just it's not adequate.
Yeah. Chris, this is Steve Meyer. I think it would be beneficial to you to come up with a plan, because then that would improve your ground. And as you start to recultivate or reuse for crops, for corn, for whatever pasture, then you've stabilized areas. I mean, I don't know if there's any washes or any things gullied out over the years. I'm trying to remember the property. I remember the house is sort of like in the center towards the bottom there, and the barn near the house. So that would be my suggestion. I mean, it's clearly for ag use, that's for sure.
100%. We're definitely genuine in what we're looking to do here, and it's 100% ag. You know, for you know, everything evolves around the operation that we're trying to do.
Right. So, Brenda, Holly, what do you think?
It did. Yeah, we currently have 10 acres of hay that's currently on the grounds at 1906. There's currently,
Yeah.
10 acres, on that side of the road right now. Right.
It's a good size field or fields. Making hay. And it looks like you're trying to build your beef herd up a little bit. So
Yeah,
you
we're just, we've had this property for less than a year, so we're slowly but surely, working our way in that direction. We did have an offspring, and we believe that this coming spring we very well could be looking at 2 more additions to where we are right now. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. Any other questions from Brenda, Holly?
This is Brenda. I don't have any questions.
Okay,
I'm good.
all right. Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the plan for the additional barn? And then maybe we should put a recommendation that the soil conservation plan be crafted with the help of Jim and Eric in their capacity.
Holly or Brenda, could you make that motion?
Can somebody clarify the motion a little more?
Are we
Okay,
making it?
The recommended motion from the staff was for the legitimacy of ag use, approval of the legitimacy of ag use designation. But in this context, as board members, you are free to make what motion you would like to do.
I make a motion that we agreed that it's for ag use.
okay. All right,
I'm good. I'll second it.
okay. All right, any other questions? All right, let's vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. And any opposed? Okay. Motion passes.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Sorry for my mic difficulties, but thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
So just a couple of further updates. Those were only business items. So the county application cycles are open now. We have both applications up online. The deadline for both programs is the last Friday in April 29th. So please help spread the word. We've been contacted from a few folks wanting to apply or reapply for the programs. But please, anyone that you might know that would be interested, please send them our way so that we get a good set of applications in. Our current easements that are in queue. We have several that are just getting ready to go out and do the baseline on a couple, and a few more that the settlements are pending. So we're moving right along with the FY21 slate of the mouth easements, and hopefully soon we will hear about offers on the FY22 slate of mouth easements. So that's it. Joe will also be queuing up our monitoring for this year soon to get out and get those going. We included in the packet the mouth FY21 annual report. So that's available online.
Lights on? No, you're good. It was the key.
Sorry, was that a question or no?
No, I accidentally unmuted you. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So check out that annual report, and is there another slide in there? Joe?
I think one more, Joe.
So our, you might recall, it was probably about a year ago, we started working on a sign for our county funded easements, either county ag or county rural legacy. This is the final product that you all had voted on, and then this was the finalized version. We hope to roll this out publicly soon. So hopefully any of our future or some of the ones that are already in our program can display these signs and help promote the program to the public and their neighbors. And that's it. Are there any questions? Any other business? Our next meeting will be in March. Is it March?
So, I would just like to add, so I'm Steve Smith. I'm on the board of the Baltimore County Soil Conservation District. And we really appreciate your help on these ag use decisions. It will really be a long-term benefit to us. So I've enjoyed sitting in on the meeting and just want to thank you very much.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep. All right, so that concludes our meeting. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay,
Good night.
good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Everyone.